Marhaba everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi, my name is Senna. So actually I woke up pretty early this morning, but I didn't start reading or anything because I wanted to get some work done and some packages, you know, ready to go. I really want to drop them off at the post office today before they close, so that way people can get them as soon as possible. And I just have like one more package that I want to get ready right now, just because I already had the sweatshirts ready made. I love when people order different products from my shop, because normally like my most popular design is a Stardew Valley Farmer one, which was my first design ever that I released on my website, and is also my favorite. Like, I love it so much. That's my most popular one. So the majority of my orders that I get are just a Stardew Valley Farmer one. But I love when people like pick up like one of these or even one of these. I just feel like these are also so cute and they're so like underrated. So yeah, this is pretty much gonna be my last order for now. And then we'll get started on the reading vlog, which I'm really excited for. Okay, so I finally got my packages ready to go, and the post office closes at 2 today, so got to get on that. But I'm gonna start off with this, the things you find hidden in my yearbook. It should be a pretty quick read, and then I'll tab my favorite parts and then we can like read them together, and yeah. Officially finished this book. Again, it's not a long book, and I tabbed some of them. Honestly, the words that were written inside in some of the poems were just so sad and just so deep and real, you know what I mean? So let me read you some of them. So it says, "We deserve a better death. Our bodies are disfigured and twisted, embroidered with bullets and shrapnel. Our names are pronounced incorrectly on the radio and TV. Our photos, plastered on the walls of our buildings, fade and grow pale. The inscriptions on our gravestones disappear, covered in the feces of birds and reptiles. No one waters the trees that give shade to our graves. The blazing sun has overwhelmed our rotting bodies." Another one says, "I want to build my house on a swing. I don't want to walk on this earth. I tell them about houses being shelled, about bodies shred into tiny pieces, about a noisy sky and shaking ground. And they tell me about their concern over the little flowers they haven't watered for hours, over an ailing canary in the cage, over a TV show they will miss tonight. Their ears hurt when they hear sirens, but we are made deaf by explosions. Their muscles stiffen with fear on their way to the shelters, while ours are pierced by boiling shrapnel." It says, "A Hamas leader named Nizar Rayyan was killed. He was buried under the rubble of his house with 15 of his family, mostly his children, the youngest aged 2. On TV, I watched when a man pulled out a headless child, another with no arm or leg, so small I couldn't tell if boy or girl. Hate ignores such details. The houses were not Hamas. The kids were not Hamas. Their clothes and toys were not Hamas. The neighborhood was not Hamas. The air was not Hamas. Our ears were not Hamas. Our eyes were not Hamas. The one who ordered the killing, the one who pressed the button, thought only of Hamas. It's so sad because, you know, yeah, we live in one place where we have struggles, and then other people live in another place where they have their own set of struggles. And it's like, yeah, how many of us complain when, you know, someone's driving too slow or our package arrives late or whatever it is, like things that are just so petty and not really that important. And then other people are, you know, having to see disfigured children and live in camps and leave their homes and see their homes be destroyed, and then their oppressors that took over their land pretty much building new modern buildings for themselves on top of the destroyed homes of those people. This is the next book that I'm gonna read, and we're kind of matching. Seeking Palestine. It says New Palestinian Writing on Exile and Home. Such pretty detailing. If you can see it, I love that. It's not too long. Look at that. I will probably be annotating and tabbing, so I need my pen. Got back home after dropping off the packages. Then, oh, didn't realize this pen was open. You know, made wudu with the water that I have access to. And I ate some bread and butter. Could you imagine not having even bread and butter to eat? Because some Palestinians, most of them, are starving. Haven't eaten for I don't know how long. And they're even waiting in long lines just to collect food. Okay, so it says, mine has been an un-Palestinian life, yet I have come to understand that it represents the most basic truth about what it means to be Palestinian, dispossessed, disinherited, and exiled, and what it ultimately means to resist. That truth is this: to be alone, without papers, without a family or a clan, a land or a country, means that one must live at the mercy of others. There are those who might take pity on you, and those who will exploit and harm you. You live at the whims of your hosts, sometimes preyed upon, and nearly always put in your place. Rarely are you treated with the dignity of an equal until you demand and fight for it. But there are particular beauties and peculiar strengths that can only be found in the trenches of such a life, like the ability to hold your head high even when someone has their boot on your neck, the wisdom to do whatever it takes to get an education even when you're denied a school, the freedom of shedding shame and living one's truth no matter how messy, without apologies, the marvel of a body that heals itself from the intentional harm of others and rises to rebuild, and the victory of a heart that does not succumb to fear or hatred or bitterness. And just when I was reading that, it genuinely reminded me of certain things like my mom would say when we were growing up, just about herself and just about the idea of, like, you know, you're Palestinian, that's where your whole family is from. But then imagine someone comes into your land and then decides that the land is not what it is, and so your birth certificate, your passports, your IDs, all of those things, it's like, who are you? You know what I mean? And even here it says, after a few months, school started, but I was not to attend. I was without papers, without a passport. I didn't belong anywhere but to a political discussion called The Question of Palestine. Continuing on this in this book, it says that, so there was this man who, obviously he's displaced, doesn't live in Palestine, but he became a teacher. And then after everything that happened, he really wanted to go into like public speaking to talk about Middle Eastern issues and about Palestine. And he really wanted to work on freeing Palestine. And so it says that it says, ever since he'd felt the stinging humiliation of what he perceived as Americans' glee over the state of Israel's defeat of the Arabs in 1967, he had thrown himself into public speaking and organizing in the U.S. about Middle East issues. He wanted to combat the deep hostility and ignorance he found all around him. He was heckled. He was attacked. Just so true, seeing this and seeing just like how people react when a person is trying to speak up about Palestine or even other countries. You know, what's happening in Congo, what happened to Muslims in China, all of these things. And it's like people get, well, those people get attacked, reprimanded, you know, abused, ignored, just treated in such a way, in such a belittling manner, you know. And it's like, you know, what else is there to do? And it's like, especially for his story, it says that he pretty much goes back and he visits Palestine, but he can't go back to his birthplace in Palestine because that specific place was now occupied, and he didn't want to go and be, you know, pretty much told what to do by people that like are not even like, that came and like took his land and took his home and everything from him. And it also says that he no longer even had relatives that lived in Palestine because, you know, they had died in the war and everything like that. And so, you know, he had to go back, and then his status when he was going to Palestine was that of a tourist. Like, it literally would say tourist, you know, not resident, not citizenship or citizen, tourist. And it's just so sad if you really think about it. Like, so many Palestinians, yeah, they're displaced, they don't have their true home, you know, they're under the status of being like stateless. And that's just, it's so hard to imagine that your home, the place where you were born, the place where your family's from, it's like they took that away from you. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end the reading vlog here because it's already almost 5 o'clock and I still have to edit and post this video. But it was very informative so far. I almost reached, I'm like on page like 49 of this book. So maybe we'll pick up another reading vlog sometime next week where we'll continue this book. Maybe I'll like finish it and talk more about it, and then we can start the other books together as well. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing, for supporting my channel, for liking the video, commenting. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And I hope that more people can be exposed to my videos and be exposed to my content and really learn something and, you know, gain inspiration in really helping Palestinians and ending this genocide, and, you know, just speaking up against the wrong acts and speaking up for what's right. So thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.